Today is the solstice, and that means, according to Anne Ralph's book, Grow a Little Fruit Tree, this is the time you should be pruning your fruit trees to reduce their vigor. Today I'm out here in my very weedy grocery row gardens, and I have some trees like this, which could use to be reduced. This is a mulberry, which if I cut it back, it'll grow back just fine. And if you look over here, I've got another mulberry, but this mulberry has these weird black fruit on it. These are actually for air layering. I knew that we needed to cut some of these branches off, but this variety is a white mulberry that we've found difficult to get it to root. So we have stuck these little balls and some bags and some other things in order to try to get them to root inside and air layer it so we can take these branches off. So I'm not gonna bother pruning this tree back. We also have a thunderstorm coming through right now. This is really not a good day to be out here with a pair of metal shears, or really out here at all. But I just wanted to remind you guys, if you're interested in doing the grow a little fruit tree method, this is the day you would come out and prune back your trees to reduce their vigor. Right here though, you can see I have some plums on this tree. So would I want to prune this tree right now? No. I do need to prune it in a short period of time here, but if you still have fruit on your trees, and of course for some of you further north, you got to remember that Anne Ralph is writing from more of a Southern California standpoint. If you're further north, you're going to have fruit on your trees. So this is, you know, if it's a fruiting tree and you want to reduce the size of it, this is not probably the right time, because you would be losing all of your fruit and you don't want to do that. But in the first couple of years when a tree is young, it should be no problem, because you're not going to get fruit anyway. So you reduce the tree those first few years and then train it to be small, and then you would, you know, go ahead and let it fruit out later, and it's not that big a deal. And of course, this is not going to be the same with all trees. As you can see here, this is a fig. We have figs all over it. Look at all those beautiful figs. This would not be the right time to prune this fig and lose all of those figs. Another thing about figs here is that they freeze to the ground anyways. So, you know, every other winter or so, these things get knocked back. If it was a really big tree and I wanted to cut it, I wouldn't have any trouble cutting it after I got the figs. I want the figs. So a little bit after the figs, that's fine. The thing is that you don't want your trees to be pruned just a little bit before they're going into dormancy in the winter. You want them to have a chance to grow back and for the new growth to harden off. Because if you have brand new growth all over the tree, that's not going to have a chance to harden off before the freezes come in. So like right here, you know, I've got all this young green growth right here. This is all recent growth on this Rachel mulberry tree, and that recent growth is not going to be hard enough to get through the winter. You want this older growth right here. So you want a chance for the tree to actually ripen up the growth and have it be ready to take the winter cold. Because if you cut it back at the wrong time of the year and it all goes out green and then the frosts come in, you may end up just destroying the tree. Like, this is brand new growth, right? This is last year's. That was dormant, and it's grown this out since it woke up this spring. If we were to cut this back right now, that would be fine. We could reduce the vigor. And then this area here would grow out a little bit, and it would stop for the year. It would brown up a little bit, and it would be able to hopefully get through the cold of winter. You want it to be able to go into dormancy and not be just a whole mass of green. For the same reason they say don't fertilize your citrus late in the year, because you may stimulate new growth right before it gets cold. Why would you do that? You don't want to do that. It's the same for a lot of plants. You know, you don't give it a big burst of fertility right there before it is going to go to sleep. It doesn't make any sense. You got to balance that, have a lot of high fertility early in the year so it can get running, and then you kind of taper it off and let it come back later. The pathway in these grocery gardens has just gotten kind of ridiculous. Here's our air layer. We're trying these little things. I don't like them very much. They don't seem to want to hold. They're sort of like they're supposed to help with your air layering, but I notice the inside, they gap out a lot. This is probably the safer way to do it. But we're not talking about air layering today. This tree right here, this apple, we can cut this back. And I'm gonna show you the tree that we cut back with the Sawzall. This is the nectarine tree, seedling nectarine. And you can see it is recovering. We cut this thing down way more than we should have in a normal year because it was 25 feet tall and we didn't prune it last year. We just let it run the whole time. That's not good. But this growth is gonna have some time to come back, give us a little bit of growth, and then harden off, and hopefully we can keep the tree down here where it's pickable instead of way, way, way up here where it was before, up in the clouds. It was almost in those clouds. You see those clouds? That's where the tree was. Insane. So we don't want that. We want this to actually stay a little shorter like this where we can get to it. And since we're in the Grocery Road Gardens, I want to show you how we pruned this chestnut tree. You see this? It's one column of chestnut. So it doesn't have hardly any branches coming off to the side. So this is a different experiment. Instead of trying to keep this tree down here small where we could pick fruit off of it, you know, like here, I'm letting it grow into a big column. So you can see how it stands up here in the garden, and it's gonna cast a little bit of shade. And the reason I'm doing this with the chestnut is, first of all, you know, we're experimenting with growing chestnuts in a polyculture like this. I think that because it's not a fruit tree, you know, with a fruit tree, you want to just be able to go up, I'm gonna go and grab those fruit off, I wanna grab a fruit off, I wanna grab a fruit off. And I don't want a fruit to be up there at 20 foot. But if it drops a nut from 20 foot, that's no problem. It can produce nuts way up there in the sky. But I don't want it to have a big canopy. So what I want to do is train it so the side branches are mostly off and it's a column that goes way up and it can branch out up there in the air, and I don't mind. If it's real nice and high up and we can kind of make it look like an inverted oil funnel shape. I will demonstrate with these chicken bones on the ground. So the tree, we want it to make a tree shape like that. Way up there, that's the top of it. We don't want it to come out like this and shade the whole area. We want it to actually be like this, way, way up. So think more like the way a palm tree would cast shade through the day. As the sun goes, the shadow would be cast through here. It's not a big black area of shadow that's just gonna cover this whole ground for a long time. It's actually going to be more like a palm tree where you have dappled light going through, which is beneficial to the garden. We don't need a huge amount of shade in here, and we don't need a huge amount of sun in here. Like a halfway is pretty good because it gets really hot here in lower Alabama. So if we actually keep limbing it up so it produces nuts, hopefully up here, they can drop in the garden, we can harvest them, but the sunlight is not blocked. I don't want a bushy little tree down low for chestnuts. I just don't need to do that. So instead, we're experimenting with, let's send it up in the air like this. This is something I read in a book from Echo down in Fort Myers about how they saw it. I think it was in Roland Bunch's book on restoring the soil, talking about visiting an African village and seeing these trees that were pruned really weird, way up in the air, like an inverted oil funnel shape, or a tall, thin martini glass type shape. Like, oh, that's cool. So that's what we're trying in here. I can grow everything I want to around the base of this tree. I've got a long pole here. I could even grow beans up it or something like that. But it's gonna be just up in the air and away from the space. So that's one of our experiments. And I'm gonna show you here, right on the other side. These are the mulberries that we took down. Look at how much growth is coming back. More branches everywhere, so more space for mulberries, but they're actually not way massively high where we can't pick them. This one right here, it cut down. It's all coming back just fine. It looks like it was terrifying the way we did it, but look at how all those buds filled out. Now we've got a lot more branches. It's more like a bush. I'm gonna show you this one too. More like a bush, right? We want the tree down small. We don't want it to go way, way up in the air. You could see how long these branches are that we cut off of this tree. You know, that's like 10, 12 feet more from this. It's ridiculous. We want it down here where we can harvest it. So it'll get time to grow a few feet up from here, go into dormancy, sleep through the winter, give us mulberries, and then after it gives us mulberries, we cut it again. Thanks for joining me. I'm not gonna actually stay out here and prune today. I'm gonna wait until we're not having thunder overhead. I may do a little bit of pruning, but I'm not gonna bother trying to film it. I was just thinking, today is the day. Today is the day of the solstice, the longest day of the year, and it gives you a little extra time to prune. I know it's late in the day that I'm posting this, but don't worry about it. You don't have to follow this exactly. Like if you miss the solstice, it doesn't mean that you can't do this. So if you want to learn more about these pruning methods, check out Ann Ralph's book, Grow a Little Fruit Tree. And if you want to learn more about this gardening system, check out my little book, Grocery Row Gardening. This is a great way to garden. It's a lot of fun. And even if the weeds start taking over beneath, you still get a lot of fruit from the trees. And it's a fun way to have a backyard orchard combined with a vegetable garden. So that's Grocery Row Gardening. I'll put a link to both of those books below. And until next time, may your thumbs always be green.